want to be a procrastinating girl anymore. Woman? Lady? I am an adult. Sometimes. I'd like to be a take action girl. Woman. Lady. Whatever. Just doesn't sound as good. But why is it so hard? I have all these ideas and goals, but trying to start is like running into a brick wall. And it's frustrating. So I'm gonna make 7 skirts in 7 days. Why, do you ask? So 1, every day I'm gonna try a different overcoming procrastination technique that I've found on the internet and see which one works the best. 2, I don't have a lot of skirts and I'd like some. And 3, skirts are pretty easy to do in a day. They're pretty simple, if you keep them simple, which I will be doing. So the key to doing this is preparation. Having all my patterns, fabric, materials, and designs all ready to go. Otherwise, it's gonna take me too long each day and I will give up and not do it. Also, clarity, which is another overcoming procrastination technique. So we're off to a good start. So the first thing I'm gonna try is taking things one step at a time. Breaking the whole process down into smaller parts and just focusing on one thing at a time. So the first thing to do is to lay out my fabric and cut out my pattern. Next, I need to get my sewing machine all set up and my bobbin all wound so I can actually, do some sewing. The first step in the actual sewing part is sewing the darts in the back. And then adding an invisible side zipper. And then sew up both sides and then add an internal waistband thing so the top has a bit of structure. And lastly, hem it. So I've wanted a plaid skirt for years and I just never found the right one. Then I saw this fabric and I was like, I really like this, so maybe I could just make one myself. Okay, so I found taking things one step at a time help get rid of the blurry mess in my head, that is which we call overwhelm. I found breaking things down step by step helped me feel like more in control and less panicky. And I enjoyed the process a lot more. I felt like I could slow down and just be a little more present with it. And this plaid skirt, I really love. It's super simple, but super comfy. It's like coating, it's like jacketing material, so it's like really warm. So I think it's gonna be a really good winter skirt. So one thing I notice when I procrastinate is that my mind goes a mile a minute with negative thoughts. So I thought I'd try turning them around to more positive ones or at least more neutral ones. I'm going to make a wrap skirt with a frayed edge. I've had this herringbone fabric for years, but I didn't know what to do with it and I don't want to waste fabric or ruin it. I tend to be a bit of a fabric collector and hopefully I will turn this into something that is wearable. So I found changing my thoughts to more positive ones definitely made a difference. Throughout the whole process of making the skirt, I just reminded myself that I can do it and that I'm safe, because those are the 2 things I usually need to hear. I found when I changed my thoughts around, I kind of snapped out of that procrastination, paralysis, freeze response situation that I find myself in quite often. Depending on where you're at emotionally, the positive thinking can be a bit of a challenge. I really enjoyed doing the fray. I've never done that before. And it was fun just picking the threads out. But anyway, power of positive thinking is a classic. So I'm gonna give myself 3 hours to do today's skirt, which should be more than enough time. I wanted to do a long rib knit skirt with an elastic waistband. I'm a bit worried about how see-through it might be, but we'll deal with that later. So knits can be a bit difficult to work with, and I had trouble with the zigzag stitch. And I was already almost an hour in. So I changed it to a stretch stitch that looks like a lightning bolt, and I put on a walking foot which helped stop the fabric from moving around. And then I forgot where I put my elastic for the waistband. I tried to get it out of the cap, but he didn't remember either. I found it eventually. Now the problem with the walking foot and the stretch stitch is that it's super slow going. And I find it kind of ironic because this was supposed to have a deadline and everything's been taking me way longer than it actually should have. This was supposed to be the quick, easy one. Okay, we did it! Having a deadline just stressed me out, to be honest. I didn't enjoy it, and plus, knit fabrics are annoying. I'm not mad at how it turned out. It just took way longer than the 3 hours I allotted to it, which I thought would be more than enough time, but it was not. So let's try something else tomorrow. So today I have to make tasks more enjoyable. And it's a bit of a disaster in here. It's really bad over there. You can't see it. There's a reason for that. Because that's how I roll when I'm making stuff. It's just a free-for-all. So let's try to cozy it up in here and make making skirts more enjoyable. So I have this faux stretch suede for some reason. I bought it for some project that I never did. So I thought I'd use it to make a simple mini skirt with a zipper up the front center and call it a day. So making my workspace cleaner and like cozier and playing music and all that definitely made making the skirt more enjoyable. I'm sure there's lots of other things you could do to make your tasks more enjoyable, but I like a cozy workspace. It like feels safe, you know? And making the skirt definitely went by quickly. And I would say it was enjoyable. I just wasn't sure how to style it. So everything was going well, and then I got sick. I'm still counting this as a 7-day challenge though. So I'm not sure what to reward myself with. I mean, sugar, desserts, candy always worked for me as a kid, but maybe it will still work. I don't know. So I think I'm going to reward myself by going out and buying some sort of dessert, sugary substance thing that I wouldn't normally buy, and hopefully that will be motivation enough. So I got this green plaid jacketing material, and I wanted to make a faux wrap skirt with it. Basically just adding another panel to the front, but like not all the way. And then adding some buttons so it looks like a wrap skirt, but it's not. It's a sneaky wrap skirt. I've been trying to think of other things I could reward myself with. I know people do like you can't go on your phone or social media until you do the thing you're trying to do. That delayed gratification kind of thing. I don't know, that's never really motivated me to do anything. So my reward ended up being chocolate-covered pretzels. They seemed like a good idea. Now, the reward thing I found didn't really work that well for me because I don't really care. Like, I can talk myself out of it. I'm like, I don't really want it. I don't really care. I can go get it myself. I think if it was something that, like, I couldn't give myself, like if someone was offering me a lot of money or a fancy trip somewhere or something, I don't know. So rewards worked well when I was a kid. My mother could bribe me, no problem, usually with food, i.e. chocolate, or going out for breakfast. But as an adult, I can do that anytime. If anyone wants to reward me with a large sum of money or a fancy trip or really anything that I can't afford, I'm not saying no. I wouldn't say no. So the theme for today is let it be messy, which shouldn't be a problem for me because I am a messy person. But it's getting over that perfectionism. And I'm the type of perfectionist that if I don't think I can do something right the first time or I don't know how to do it fully and like I'm afraid of making mistakes and doing it wrong and getting judged for it, I won't do it. I will procrastinate. This is like one of the big reasons why I procrastinate. So today we're taking the pressure off and just letting it be messy, which is good because I don't exactly know what I'm doing with this skirt. And like, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how. So we're going to figure that out. So I have this wool blend fabric, which I thought would be really good for a winter skirt. Again, it's one of those fabrics I've had lying around my house for years. I think I made a pair of pants out of it randomly. That didn't quite work. But anyway, I wanted to do like a half wrap kind of skirt with buttons going up like one side sort of thing, but like in the front. So I was trying to figure out the front part and how much I needed on both sides because I wasn't using a pattern. I was just kind of figuring it out as I went. So I'm pretty sure these buttons won't hold the wool fabric very well. Like they're too flimsy. They're just really pretty and I really like them. So I'm going to do pretend buttons and put an invisible zipper along the side instead. Because life's just easier that way because I'm not very good with buttons. I have yet to master the button hole. I should probably work on that. I broke one of my buttons, but it's nothing a little glue can't fix. You'd never know, unless you look at it. And then you would know. Okay, so the whole mindset of letting things be messy I found worked really well for me. Helped take the pressure off. I found things just flowed a little better, and I didn't make as many mistakes. I don't think I made any mistakes, other than breaking my button. So we got ourselves a skirt, and I think this is one of my favorite ones. So for the last day, I want to look at why we procrastinate in the first place, because I think getting to the root of things can make a big difference. And I think it's definitely fear and avoiding some sort of pain, which I guess is fear. So for me personally, it's definitely the fear of what others think, making mistakes, not being enough, that whole thing, the classics. And procrastination is just a way to protect yourself, because if you never do the thing, there's no risk in it. But then there's also not doing the thing, which can also cause pain as well. So I guess you just have to figure out what's more important. I don't know, I'm not an expert, I'm just trying to figure myself out over here. So I'm not sure what I made here, but it was a lot of work, and I'm not sure if it was worth it. But yeah. So overall, I think this little experimental journey thing that I went on to become someone who takes action and doesn't procrastinate, I think kind of actually worked. I had very low expectations. And these techniques are simple and can seem really obvious, but how often do you actually do them? I know I don't. I know I forget. And I like to overcomplicate things and think the simple things aren't actually going to do anything. And I found that the experiment, I actually figured out what works for me. The ones that are softer, in my opinion, work the best. The taking things one step at a time, the making things more enjoyable, changing my thoughts around, and the taking the pressure off and letting things be messy definitely were the best ones for me. As opposed to the deadlines and rewards, which to me seem harsher. There's more pressure involved, personally for me. I'm a baby and I need to be babied, so hopefully I will continue on to be a take action girl, woman, lady, thing, whatever. Still have to come up with a better name.